Good day, this is Ken from Music Mentor, and today we are going to be carrying on with our lessons regarding the CAGED system. Today in particular, we're going to be learning how the chord voicings that we have learned before, the chord shapes of C, A, G, E, and D, are indeed movable. We're able to move them anywhere on the fretboard to create new chord voicings. We're going to explain how that works and how that is potentially useful for you as a musician. Now on to our lesson. To start off, the two most important things that we need to know is that the chords that we've learnt are movable shapes, meaning that we're able to move them anywhere on the fretboard. That's how the CAGED chords work, that you're able to, they're basic shapes that we can move into various positions. The other important thing to understand is how the musical alphabet works and how it works according to the frets of your guitar. So if I look at the musical alphabet, if I play the note A, which is the 5th fret of our top E string, if I move it up one semitone or one fret, it becomes A sharp. And if I move it up another fret, or 2 from the original A, it becomes B, etc., etc. So when I'm talking about my guitar chords or my movable shapes, if I leave them in their bass position, they remain C, A, G, E, and D. However, if I take these chords and I move them up by one fret, for example, take this D chord and I move it up from D, move it up one fret, it becomes D sharp. If I move it up 2 frets, it becomes E, F, F sharp. Now, I can't play all of the strings and I have to play selected strings in order to get the chord voicing to sound exactly as it's meant to do. That is something we will talk about in the future called chord constructions and how chords are built and put together. But for all intents and purposes, you're able to take any shape, move it up a fret and change it to a different chord. If we follow the rule of after E comes F, after A comes A sharp, after D comes D sharp. You're able to take those chord voicings or chord shapes that we've learned in CAGED and move them up. So how do we get these to sound the best in the possible way? We do something by adding a bar. Now a bar is when we lay our finger across the guitar neck in order to emulate either a capo or this nut. So how would you do that? We're going to use the example of C. So this is a C chord, right? And we're going to play 5 variations of the C chord by following the CAGED system and following the idea of each of these chords being able to move. We're going to add a bar just to make sure that they sound clear and as they're meant to. So I can play a C here in its natural position at the 1st fret. Right? If I wanted to play a C in a 2nd position, we'd follow the word CAGED, C, A, G, E, and D, and the next one would be an A shape for the C chord. So we'd work out, here's our A sharp, B, C. And we'd form our bar by lying our finger across, and that would be an A-shaped C chord. The next one would be G shape for the C chord. So we'd need to take that and we'd have to put it over here. Now, the G shape is one of the more tricky ones. It is a bit of a stretch where we'd be playing this shape over here and then barring further down. Right, we'd then play the E-shaped C chord. And lastly, we'd make a D shape over here. Okay? Each of those are C chords following the CAGED shapes all over the guitar neck. And this is true for every single one that we do. And the spacing remains the same. The space difference between a C to an A will always be the same. A to G, G to E, E to D. And that way, if I wanted to say, for example, start with a different chord, say a G chord, my next CAGED variant would be an E shape, which I'd play over here. The next variant would be a D shape, which I'd play over here, etc., etc. And we're able to move that all over the guitar fretboard. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be releasing new content each Monday, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram with the links below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, this is Ken from Music Mentor.